last year I did a video about how to make your Reborn look realistic in the car seat when you take them out in public. And I got a lot of requests on that video to do a how to make your awake Reborn look realistic in the car seat. Now there's not much more to that, really, but I'm going to show you guys some posing techniques that I use and some other things that I use to make my awake Reborns look more realistic when I take them out. I take my Reborns out on a regular basis, and I take asleep or awake. It doesn't really matter to me because if you pose them correctly, everyone just assumes they're a real baby anyway. And also, I'm just not ashamed to say, oh, it's a doll, and explain to them a little bit about the hobby. So I'm going to show you guys a few tricks. And I also have my new car seat here, so I want to show you all that because I love the new car seat. It is amazing. I will definitely be doing a review on my new travel system soon. And I also have my newest addition to my Reborn family, Kennedy, here. And she's going to be starring in this video. So first of all, my first tip to you is buckle them in. I know some people I've seen that when they take them out in the car seat, they don't buckle their babies in. And that's not realistic at all, especially if the baby was awake. You would definitely want to buckle them in. So I'm just going to do that now. She has a gown on, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. There we go. So now that she's buckled in, the straps are adjusted properly. They look a little loose, but if I were taking her out right now, I would tighten them up just slightly. The next tip I have is, if it's an awake Reborn, you may want to bring a toy or something like that because I'm just going to show you guys. If you give her a toy, it looks like she is looking at the toy. If you pose her to be looking at something, hope you guys can see that. One of my favorites to bring with an awake Reborn is a hanging toy. So I have one here, and I will show you all what that looks like. So I'll hang it on the side here and tilt her head to be looking at the toy. And that looks very realistic out in public, especially if you're just passing by somebody and they just glance and they see the baby looking at the toy. So I also sometimes hang them up here, but that's a little less realistic because when people look at your baby and they're looking up like this, yes, that is realistic, but at the same time they can see the baby's eyes more, so they can see that the baby's eyes aren't moving or that they're not blinking. So it's more realistic if you put it on the side of the car seat where they can't get a good view of the baby's eyes. If you're going for that more realistic look, or you want to pass your baby off as a real baby, if you are one of those people that doesn't like people to notice that your baby is a Reborn. So another thing that I would suggest, especially with an awake baby, is scratch mittens, because their hands, she has scratch mittens on because they're on this gown, but for instance, her hands aren't in a natural, well, this one is more in a natural position, but I'll show you all this one. This hand is not in a very natural position. A baby wouldn't keep their hand in that position, so I would use scratch mittens, like what are on her gown, to cover that up so that they can't really see that their hands aren't moving. Also socks, but then you also have the problem of you need to dress them in weather-appropriate clothing because you don't want them going out in 90-degree weather in a sleeper. It's just, you wouldn't do that with a real baby. It wouldn't look realistic at all, and as a matter of fact, you would get a lot more attention. If you're one of those people that doesn't like attention, you should dress your baby appropriately for the weather, because if you dress them in clothing that's not appropriate to the weather, people will be staring at you. They will be staring at your baby. And yeah, so you just don't want to do that. Another thing that I like to do sometimes is I'll just put a bottle in here with her. I don't do that one as often. I don't know why. It's just not one of my favorites. But I do put a bottle in there sometimes. Another one that I suggest, especially with an awake baby, is a pacifier. So I have hers here. She takes modified pacifiers, so give me a second to get it right here. There we go. And with the head tilting this way to look at a toy, that is definitely very realistic. There we go. She's looking so cute. And for those of you who have babies who can't take modified pacifiers or don't have a magnet, I have a few babies like that myself, so I will take a pacifier clip and I will clip it to their clothes or to the inside of the car seat somewhere, like the head support, and I'll just lay it down like this on their chest so that it looks really realistic. It looks like they just spit out their passy. So that's another trick. And then one thing that I definitely recommend is a blanket. And that should be weather appropriate as well. So I have these really nice thin muslin blankets by Chickpea. And I really love them because even when it's hot outside, you can put this up. If you don't want any more attention on your baby, you can put this up and then put the blanket over like this. So that's really nice. Or, on the point of, again, not wanting people to see that she's not moving or not breathing, because some people notice that your baby's not breathing. And the straps do cover that up. And also a blanket, if you put a blanket on them, kind of like that. And like I said, make sure that the blanket is weather appropriate as well. If it's winter, then put a thicker blanket on them. If it's summer, use a thin or muslin blanket or a receiving blanket of some type. I think that that is all of my tips for now. If there's anything you guys would like me to add, if you all would like me to do a video about taking your Reborn out without a car seat, because I know on my last video I had a lot of comments saying, oh, I don't have a car seat. Well, I also take my Reborns out without a car seat sometimes, so if you would like to see tips on that, then please let me know below. Also, you can leave video requests below, and thanks for watching, everyone!